Welcome to GOJA training, otherwise known as How to GOJA. Next question is, what is Auto GOJA? Sounds like a cartoon I would have watched or an action figure I would have collected when I was a kid, but Auto GOJA, according to their website, Auto GOJA job analysis software is a hosted software solution that automates many steps necessary to complete a traditional job analysis. It's fantastic for surveys, very good for job analysis surveys, conducting the surveys, collecting them, getting the data in a very organized form. You can do that simply by going to www.autogoja.com, and there you will be able to log in, put together what kind of job analysis survey you would like, download the data, all that fun stuff. I've created a folder for those of you on Team D, T Drive, Team D folder, GOJA folder. It has this presentation. It has all of your logins if you're in this room. It has the product manual in a PDF, all kinds of fun stuff, so don't be afraid to go log in there. Team A and C people, sorry, I don't know how to put something on the T drive so everyone can access it.
Put it on the S.
Okay, maybe I'll put it on the S later on, or you need to hassle one of your supervisors to get that figured out. Okay, so what does GOJA mean? Why is it called GOJA? It stands for Guidelines Oriented Job Analysis. The people who put this thing together obviously have an IOP and P background. They understand the jargon, they understand the processes. It's pretty great. So the features of GOJA, most importantly, it's a user-friendly platform. Let's say you are an incumbent taking a job analysis survey. You can log in, you can start it, you can log out, come back to it later. You don't have to do it all in one sitting like with some other platforms like SurveyMonkey. This one is extremely user-friendly on the front end and the back end. It's also very easy to create your survey. All you have to do is upload a text file, just a notepad file, and they do all the dirty work. It automatically generates separate incumbent and supervisor versions of the survey, which I'll elaborate on in a minute. Very easy to download all the data into Excel, and it automatically calculates the averages and standard deviations. One less thing you have to do. So the incumbent survey, and let's look at the packet here. First page is just the Auto GOJA website homepage, so you know what it looks like, and remember what it's called. The next one says incumbent on it. There are 2 pages. So the first part is job duties, which is what they call tasks. We say tasks, they say duty. It means the same thing. So the questions the incumbent is asked, is this duty performed on the job, yes or no? Then they're asked to rate the importance on a scale of 1 to 5 and frequency on a scale of 1 to 9. So now everybody has a copy. You know what the scales mean. You have the same thing on the next page that also says incumbent. Down on the second half, you have the KSAs, which they can rate on importance and frequency. So basically when a candidate goes there, they're going to see this, they're just going to click the buttons, and it's pretty simple. The next page that says supervisor on it shows you what the supervisor sees when they go to fill out the job analysis. They all have the same questions, but they're asked a couple of additional things, such as, is this job duty fundamental to the job? Yes or no? Can this job duty be readily assigned to another incumbent without changing the fundamental nature of the position? Yes or no? And then finally, above minimum performance of this duty makes the following difference in overall performance on the job. And they rate that on a 1 to 5 scale. So you get a slightly different look from a supervisor than you do from an incumbent, and it's good data all around. So this, oh, go ahead, Beth.
Do you input these yourself, or are they all like predetermined?
The knowledge statements and whatnot. No, you get to put those all in yourself.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how to do that. Nice segue. Thank you.
Okay. Actually,
Go ahead, Kat.
Well, no, I'm just looking at the incumbent, like the first duty is supervises police officers and or civilians, and that's not on the supervisor one. So is it just one of those things that
I
one's
printed different pages off of it just for kicks.
just wondering, is it the exact same job duties on both of them, and then they're just rating them for different things?
So when I had to do this recently, it was for the rank of police sergeant. So we're going to look at a bunch of police sergeant stuff so you can kind of see what we did and the thought process behind it. But anyway, once you're logged in, I'm logged in right now. This is what it looks like. The important stuff here is under jobs. That's where all the neat stuff is saved that you put in there. So the only one that's in there right now is police sergeant. So after you upload your KSAs, you can go take a look at them just by clicking on the menu. And then you see every single thing you uploaded into that survey. You can make very minor edits one at a time, but you're better off having an almost perfect product before uploading it. Some other things that are in here that are pretty interesting, you can export the survey data straight from here. It has a number of specific reports you can get. You can get general reports. So if you wanted to see your KSAs, you would just click on this, and it'll download it for you. And it ends up looking a lot like this. I'm just going to pull up the Excel sheet so everybody can see what it looks like, how easy this is. So there you get all of your duties, your tasks. I separated these by tab just to make it easier to look at. So these are all the job duties. If you scroll over, you can see the number of SMEs that responded, number of supervisors that responded, and then we get over to the specific questions. The frequency average is right here, standard deviation, we have the importance average, and I think the survey is the next thing in your packet, so I just kind of put a star by frequency, importance, best worker average, which is having more than minimal knowledge improves job performance, and so on. It just goes all the way over there. Best way to learn this is get around and play with it. Yes, Eric, go ahead.
Joel, for each one of those tasks or duties, were you able to import those in, or did you have to type each one out?
I could import them in, and we're going to do an exercise with that coming up, so you're going to be able to see exactly how the sausage is made. So the other nice thing is after it's uploaded, you can take a look at it. It'll give it to you in a PDF format, which is easy to download, and you get to see all kinds of great stuff. Guess it's never been used on this computer before. Yeah, okay, here we go. So when the incumbent logs on, they have room for some instructions. They fill out their name, a little bit of employee information, demographic details, and then it just takes them right to the survey. So this was the police sergeant incumbent survey. That's what it looks like. That's what they see.
So I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
The above instructions and information, can you alter those fields? Like if you didn't want to ask them their gender, could you eliminate gender?
No, and I'll get to the limitations and drawbacks here in a minute, but that's one of the things. So while we're taking a look at this, we need to talk about the putting your survey together. So you're better off having your task statements figured out ahead of time. You want to put those in Excel. I like Excel a lot, but it's kind of a ideal place to put task statements because you can change them more easily. They're all isolated into a single cell, so it makes it a lot easier to make alterations and changes. So you have all this here. You can do it, but you can separate it by tabs. We have knowledge statements here, ability statements, skill statements. So you want to get those figured out ahead of time, and then when you do, you're going to put them into a notepad That's just a text file. So the one that's going to pop up here in a second, this is the complete list of my ability statements, and that's really all it is. I just did a cut and paste from Excel. Each ability statement gets a separate line, and that is the format you need to have it in order to upload it into GOJA. And it'll just upload the whole file and process it, and you really don't have to think too much about it. So we'll talk about that next. Okay, creating your job analysis survey. So the old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, certainly applies here. The more work you do ahead of time, the easier time you'll have in GOJA, the easier it is to upload your survey. That requires a lot of preparatory work. I showed you the Excel starting out there with the tasks, the duties, knowledge, skills, ability. Get those all figured out ahead of time. And make sure you use all of the good things you've learned today as far as writing task statements. Use an active voice, aim for clarity, and be precise. You know, you saw the big file up there, what it looked like in GOJA. It's kind of intimidating for some incumbents to have to read all of those different things and all the different pages, so make it easy for them. Active voice, clear, concise. So before uploading to GOJA, make sure you have your survey in its final form. This includes content, the specific verbiage you want, and the order they are placed in. Once it's in GOJA, it's very difficult to change the order, so get that all hashed out ahead of time. Then you move it from Excel to a notepad, and you're pretty much done. Seriously. So we're going to do a sample project here to see how well you all work as a team. This is going to be lots of fun. So Carla, Jeremy, and Beth, you are going to be my knowledge statement group. Chelsea, Liz, and Nathan, you're going to be the skills statement group. Eric, Rich, and Kat, you're going to be the ability statement group. So we're going to take 5 minutes to write KSA statements for the job of sumo wrestler. Clock's ticking, go. Knowledge, skills, ability. For anybody not in the know, a sumo wrestler is a big fat wrestler who tries to push other big fat guys out of the ring. Here, let's rein it in, that's great. Okay, knowledge group, you can go first. What is your first knowledge statement?
No sumo techniques. Knowledge of sumo techniques.
Okay, next.
Our next one?
Yep.
Knowledge of moves mechanics.
Mechanics of
Or the mechanics of moves.
Okay.
Know the rules of the sumo as a sport, I guess. Know the rules of sumo.
Okay.
Knowledge of how to wrap a mawashi.
What?
Spell Mawashi for me.
M-A-W.
Who knew that?
I looked it up. M-A-W-A-S-H-I.
Okay.
I hope you didn't think of Wikipedia.
And then know the physics of leverage.
Leverage or leverage?
Leverage.
Okay. Skills group, you're up next. What do you have?
We have skill in pinning opponents to the ground.
Okay.
We have skill in reading your opponent.
Next.
Skill in, again, this overlaps, but it's still a skill, the wrestling techniques. Dodging and avoiding your opponent. Dodge, duck, and dip and dive.
Dive and dodge, 5 Ds.
How many
And
D words can we get on there?
That's gonna be an ability.
There's probably a good way to squat and a bad way. We don't know for sure, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
All right. Give some thought to this. You're not just phoning it in. I'm impressed. Okay, ability group, what do you have?
Piggyback what you just said about squatting, ability to squat for extended periods of time,
There we go.
ability to apply force using body from the squat position.
Okay.
Ability to withstand force from the other wrestlers.
Okay.
Ability to stand on mat surface for extended periods of time. Ability to withstand public scrutiny.
All right.
Ability to accelerate from a squatted position. And ability to tie a man bun.
I'm going to hyphenate man bun. Not sure if that's correct. Okay, very good. Very good all around. Nice statements. Very concise, very clear, very active voiced. If I were doing this for real, I would take some time and think a lot about the order, make sure the spelling was accurate and all that. But this is just a tutorial here. So what I'm going to do is post this in a notepad. And we're going to save that as Sumo KSAs.
What voice was that, Joel?
I don't know, let's pay attention. What did I say?
No, just the way you said it.
That's my Socratic teacher voice. Yeah, that's what I'm going with here. Okay, so now we would need to create a new survey. So City of Columbus, and we're going to add job. What's a job code that does not exist? 9999, does that exist?
Now we're City of Columbus.
Okay, good. That's now our code for sumo wrestler. So we're going to save that. And here we are. We have selected sumo wrestler as our job that we're working on here. So now we're going to have to go to the pre-survey preparatory tools. And, oh shoot, I forgot where this is. Here we go. Add knowledge skills, or import knowledge skills and abilities. You can always add them later, but it's much easier just to import them right there. So we're going to browse, and we're going to find our file. What did I press here? Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Sumo KSA, open, and save. So that uploads it into AutoGoja. We have all of our knowledges, our skills, and our abilities instantly uploaded right there into Goja. So what we can do from there is, let's see here. Now the survey is active. We can send an email invite out to all the sumo wrestler incumbents and sumo wrestler supervisors in the city. They'll be able to log in here, take the survey, and figure out exactly how important all of these things are. Let me see. Yeah.
Just a quick question. What is the login that the incumbents use to access the survey?
They can create their own. It's super easy. You just put your own name in there, make your own password.
So is there a link then you send them?
It's internal within the, you can do it from within AutoGoja. You can just send out the invite. Now it helps if you're doing this for real to make contact with whoever your liaison is at the Department of Sumo. Say, hey, we're doing a job analysis. I need to send this out to all your sumo wrestlers. Can you give me a complete list, a complete email list, that kind of thing. Let's see. And I know there's a way here we can actually view the survey. I'm just forgetting what it is offhand. Wait a minute, survey, reports, prep tools. It's here somewhere. Invitation management, that's where you send out. So here's my SME and supervisor links that I sent out to police sergeants. So you can just put the email addresses here separated by a semicolon, put your own address in reply to. But you do have to have the link to the survey. That's what needs to be sent out.
So could you highlight, copy, paste that and just send them the link in regular?
You can do
email?
it internally. Yeah, that's another option. You have a couple of different ways you can do that. So currently right now we don't have any responses, but that's just kind of how it is at this point.
Is there a way to see what they see when they get it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly where that is though. Printable copy, here it is, geez, I forgot. Sorry about that, been a while, but it's in the invitation management, printable copy. You can view it. Here we go, job title, sumo wrestler. We're conducting a study to learn and identify important job duties performed by employees assigned to the sumo wrestler job within the city of Columbus. So it gives them the instructions, they would fill out these things, demographic data, ask them about if you've ever supervised the sumo wrestler position, ever trained sumo wrestlers, and then we get into, we didn't do any job duties today, that's okay, we can always do those later. Then we get into our KSAs. So here are our KSAs. They're going to rank them on importance 1 through 5, frequency 1 through 9, and there we go. Yes?
Oh, quick question for you. Well, when you send out the candidates the link, I'm assuming that they won't have access to all of the behind-the-scenes tinkering around that we just did?
No,
It
they
would
just get
be
something that looks
the
like
survey.
this. Yeah, they don't get admin access. It will literally look like this PDF form right here. This is all they see.
And is that fillable, the bubbles, so then they can?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's fillable for them. They just go through
Gotcha.
and put the bubbles.
They can pause and come back.
That's the big thing that's better about that than SurveyMonkey. They can pause and come back as many times as they want. They don't have to do it all in one set. So that's pretty great. So the limitations of GOJA, it's not terribly customizable other than the statements you put together. You can't, the one thing that was difficult for us is we couldn't ask how many years they had been a police sergeant, separate from how many years they'd been a police officer, separate from total years in the division. That was kind of the one big drawback. Not a whole lot of flexibility, but if you're creative enough with workarounds, you can kind of get the data that you want to. So any questions about what we've seen here today before we go on?
Can we talk about the strengths? Is that coming up or?
I think you missed that. I talked about how great it was for job analysis, surveys, and analyzing the data after all. But now you've learned stuff, so go forth and GOJA. You have my blessing.
I have a question. The PDF was about 15 pages. What was at the end?
There's a lot of extra stuff on there that they don't always need. There's a whole tool section, some physical abilities, which would be applicable for sumo wrestler, but not so much for, you know, police officer or clerical worker. So,
With all that?
what's that?
Are you stuck with all that?
You are stuck with it, but the nice thing is in the instructions, you tell them just answer pages 1 through 3. And then they pull up this gigantic 15-page document and, oh, I only have to do the first 3 pages. That's not so bad. Kind of gives them, I'm sure there's a sales term for it, but it gives them a fake feeling of relief. There are other questions about hours worked every day. I mean, a lot of this gets very extensive. Working at home, travel, and this is all pretty much hard-coded into GOJA. Dress code, that's an interesting one for a sumo wrestler. Working outside, environmental conditions. I mean, it's really designed to do a ground level up job analysis from something that's never been analyzed before, but for our requirements, you just tell them where to stop when you send out the introductory email. Beth, did you have a question?
Does it track like SurveyMonkey where you can log into your section and see like, oh, they're about 50% done, so.
I'm not sure.
How do you get notified when they're completed?
Well, the way we did it for police sergeant was you have the entire month of January 2018 to complete this survey. Deadline is midnight on January 31st. After that, we just downloaded everything and started analyzing. There may be a way to see that, but I just gave them a month and got it over with. Any other questions about GOJA?
I think one of the other things that it couldn't do is like that, they use for classifications and what we use for the task categories where it's 100% of your job, like divide that up into these areas. It won't do that. So what we did is once we analyzed the job, we had all the data and we wanted to show our subject matter experts, like, does this make sense? That's when we then collected that data. So we did that in small settings.
All right. So I think you missed the very beginning. I put a GOJA folder on the T drive. Can I put do I have access to put that on the S drive so people on Team A and C can enjoy it too?
Yeah.
Should, but now they may have locked
We
it
don't have
down
access
since
to
that.
add anything to
But you can get in the shared drive.
But I made a folder with the product manual and everything, everybody's logins. So.
it says, yeah, let's send it, yeah, we'll send it to Mike, see if he can add it somewhere. Can you import the email addresses?
Remember, I think you're probably better sending it through your citywide email, to tell you the truth. It's much easier.
You know what, in our email, citywide email, you can go to like employees by job class and like highlight all the names and then like copy and paste them over to your email and like it'll bring up all the city emails for these people.
Clever.
If they have a city email. Sometimes what's listed in their employee by job class is slightly different than what the email is listed. So yes, I kind of like to look at it.
Trick, so
Yeah.
that's good.
It's handy.
Thanks for the activity, Joel.
You're welcome. Okay, that's all I have.